What's up, guys? So we're here in Dallas, Texas at Christopher Crump's Real Estate Meetup. And the reason why I'm so excited about this speaking event is because it's not just gonna be me, right? I'm inviting one of my clients who's also here in Dallas, Texas. His name is Brent Erickson. You may have seen on the last podcast. He got a lot of love. A lot of people reached out to him asking how he did it, what he did, his sales strategies, dispo, etc. So we're actually going to be bringing him on stage with us to highlight exactly what he's doing, what's working, what's not, and more importantly, the lessons that he's learned, the mistakes that he's made, so you guys don't have to go through that. The initial part of this presentation is going to be me just going over what we've done this year, what's currently already working from a marketing perspective, and then a little bit of sales intro to start off, like speed to lead, the importance of that, things like that. But when it comes to actually converting these leads into contracts, that is something that I want to let Brett do himself, because he is somebody that is actually closing deals and making 6 figures per month from this process. So this video is going to be for you if you are a wholesaler right now who is tired, you're done with the old traditional way of wholesaling, cold calling, text blasting, bothering agents, even door knocking, right? And you're ready to put that behind you and step into the new way of wholesaling, the modern way of wholesaling, where sellers are coming to you. You're able to close deals for double the profits in half the time. So stick around to the end. There's gonna be a lot of value. There's gonna be a lot of nuggets, especially when we have Brett on stage with us. So with that said, let's get on to the video.
I'm not a direct client of Ben, but I have certainly benefited a ton from Ben. So Ben, I appreciate your time,
I appreciate
your
you, man.
expertise, and we're going to give Ben the floor, and Ben's going to run for about 30 to 45 minutes. He'll have some Q&A at the end as well, but if you want to pipe in with a question, I'm sure Ben is open to that, but Ben, the floor is yours.
I appreciate that, Chris. Thank you. Can we get one round of applause for Chris and everybody here, please, again? Great, guys. So as Chris mentioned, my name is Benjamin. What I do is I run a marketing agency called Bolt Deals, and what we do is we primarily work with wholesalers on the inbound marketing side. So we specialize in PPC, Facebook ads, and today I want to show you exactly how we generated $3 million in assignment fees at an average of a 6.3x return on ad spend from our marketing. So we're going to be covering 2 things here. Number 1 is how we're going to get outsized returns, better returns from our marketing efforts and our marketing dollars. And the second thing is a new strategy that I'm working on, not only for myself, but our clients, to add an additional $20,000 to $30,000 per month in profit to their wholesaling business. But first, again, who am I? My name is Benjamin. I'm CEO and founder here at Bolt Deals. I've been running this agency since I was 15. I'm 20 now, so a quarter of my life has been dedicated to this business. We have a little over $20 million in documented assignment fees. It's literally on a spreadsheet. And then on top of that, we have clients doing anywhere from 2 deals per month to as many as 30 plus deals per month, which I'm very, very proud of, because those relationships and those clients are really hard to come by. And as of last month, we managed a little over $500,000 per month in ad spend across Facebook and PPC. On the bottom here, you can see some client success KPIs. If you guys are, want to get real nerdy with it, just goes to show you how I care about KPIs. And then over here, some of the clients, like Austin Zabak, his company was our client, Brent Daniels was our client, and Pace and Jamil were just people that I met at a mastermind that I was in. So first thing I want to talk about, how we get outsized returns for our marketing dollars. And the way I would answer this is by asking 3 different questions, right? Number 1 is, how are we consistently getting in front of high intent, motivated sellers who actually are begging for our help? So that's one thing I'm going to go over here. Second thing is how we're going to be converting opportunities, so sellers that are coming in, into actual contracts. And for that, I actually have a special guest, which I'm very, very excited about. And third thing is how we're going to be able to offload those properties and get the biggest amount of profit for our deals in the shortest amount of time. So our strategy when it comes to getting in front of sellers who actually need to sell as opposed to just wanting to sell is we leverage Google PPC as our primary direct response, right? I'll talk about Facebook as well a little bit, but that's more of our secondary thing. And the reason why I like Google over every other platform, like cold calling, text blasting, or even door knocking, is because of the intent of the seller, right? For example, if you guys are going through some sort of issue, you get stuck on the side of the road, the first thing you're going to do is go on Google and search for somebody to tow your car. Same thing with a seller. If they're going through foreclosure, they can't make their mortgage payments, the first thing they're going to do is go on Google and see how they can sell their house as is for cash, right? And the way I measure success and why I believe Google outperforms every other marketing channel is based on three main metrics. Number one is our lead to contract percentage. Our lead to contract percentage on Google PPC on average is 1 out of 10. And that's if you're average, right? If you're better, it's going to be lower, right? If you're not as good, need more experience, it's going to be a little bit more. As opposed to cold calling, where it's around 1 out of 50, right? I'd rather talk to 10 people and get a deal than 50, right? The second thing is average profit per deal, right? The average profit per deal from what we notice is anything from $18,000 to around $25,000, depending on whether you're wholesaling, novating, whatever the case is. And finally, cash conversion cycle. To me, this is one of the most important metrics because it tells me out of a year how many deals I'm able to close, right? And the average cash conversion cycle for cold calling would be around 6 months from what I've noticed. And for inbound marketing, it's half that time. So in the span of a year, you're able to close double the amount of deals without changing a single thing besides your marketing, which is why I love PPC.
Ben, I have a question.
Go for it.
I
brought water.
With you being Google PPC and like ChatGPT and search history changing, like maybe not as many people going to Google. Does that change your business model?
So as an agency, no, because I use PPC as well. I use ChatGPT as well and AI. It's more for the SEO side. But when it comes to keyword research, I definitely use AI because it helps you with searching what keywords are actually working, and we can plug that and test that into our campaigns. And then when it comes to the SEO side, it helps us with blogs. We just plug in the keywords that we know works, and then we pump it out. And SEO, if you guys don't know, is search engine optimization. It's basically just helping you rank higher on the organic side, so it's free, right? It's basically content. But yeah.
So you aren't seeing any, you're not impacted at all by ChatGPT.
So one thing that I've noticed and I've seen is that ChatGPT is eventually becoming a search engine. So something that I'm exploring is how can we position our business and brand ourselves on ChatGPT. So if like a homeowner goes on ChatGPT and says, hey, I need to sell my house fast, where do I go? Our ad would pop up, right? Or our business would pop up. So that's something that I am currently exploring.
Do you have a sense of, I'm assuming this is, do you have a sense of ChatGPT running literally like ads?
So so I understand. So you're basically asking, your question was, is ChatGPT or AI in general running ads? There's softwares out there that absolutely do that leverage AI, look at the data. But the challenge about that is that it's not as advanced enough yet. And here's what I mean. If I were to screenshot my Google Ads data and put it into ChatGPT, it will tell me which campaign is performing from a cost per lead perspective. Like it'll tell me, okay, this campaign, this keyword has the lowest cost per lead, and to them, it thinks it might be the best performer. But at the end of the day, we're not really optimizing for the lowest cost per lead, but we're optimizing for the highest cost per quality. So one thing I've done in regards to that is I've tried to build a separate, like a ChatGPT learning model that I can feed in not only the data, but the lead quality data from the CRMs to try and train it, if that makes sense. So it's out there, but it's not as good as I want it. And then on top of that, I would ask ChatGPT like really granular, like why it would do things a certain way. And it's pretty generic and it's not as good. It's not up to my standard of where it's at right now, but give it 6 months, 12 months, I think it's gonna be good. So that's something that I'm working on. Any other questions? I love these questions so much. No. Okay, cool. So let's talk about how to dominate PPC as a wholesaler, right? There's actually 3 things. Third one, no space, so I will talk about it as we go. So the first one, PPC in order to dominate is keyword match strategy. So there's 3 types of keyword strategies. There's broad match, there's phrase match, and then there's exact match. Broad match is exactly what it sounds, right? Somebody will search up, for example, sell my house fast, and if your ad, or if somebody searches up just sell my house with an agent, it might pop up because it's still there, it's still broad. I don't like broad match. We never run it, even though it'll get you a lower cost per lead, but the quality is not where I'd want it to be. And if you're running PPC and you're going for volume, you kind of defeat the whole point, right? So for us, we run phrase match and exact match to generate the highest intent clicks that become the highest intent leads, right? The second thing is our ads and landing page messaging, right? Sellers have seen the we buy houses, cash offer as is, all that stuff, right? So one thing that we do, and I'll show you on the next page here, is we focus on targeting via social proof and targeting pain points. conversions, right? Because a seller is more inclined to convert based off of the data, which we measure by click-through rate. So how many people see to how many people click. That whenever you target somebody that's going through foreclosure or that says facing foreclosure, or they can't make their mortgage payments, the conversion rate is typically a lot higher. So we want to make sure that our ad and our landing page have the exact same messaging. That way they know they clicked on the right thing. Yes, ma'am?
Are you using ChatGPT with the phrase and exact match? Are you like looking on ChatGPT and asking like what are the most common phrases that people like search up for?
That's a great question. So your question was, do we use ChatGPT to determine what keywords to run for a phrase match and exact match? And the answer is no. And yes, here's why. I've been doing this for 5 years and we've managed a lot of money in ad spend. So I have all the data points of what's exactly working and what's not in every single market, literally just on a spreadsheet. So we already have that. So we don't really need to. But when it comes to keyword research, which is what you're talking about, I've tried it on my own money. I will never test money or test campaigns on a client's budget. I've tested it myself. It's good. It's not great, right? So I typically just use logic and testing on my own money to determine what works. Yeah, awesome. Any other questions?
In terms of cost per clicks, do you think it'd be better to target the entire state? For example, we're in Texas. It might be better to target the entire state as opposed to Dallas, Florida.
On paper, yes. And here's why. There's a common saying in the space, and I've said it myself, where the more markets you go into, your CPMs or cost to reach 1,000 people, it goes down. And as a result, your cost per click, your cost per lead, your cost per deal, it all goes down, and your return on ad spend, your return on investment, it goes up, right? But the challenge with that, in my opinion, is this. If you target an entire state, Texas is pretty big. You can drive 8 hours and still be in Texas, right? So there's a lot of like boony towns is what I call them. And you can get them under contract, right? The sellers will be motivated, but you can't sell it. So now you waste the seller's time and now you look not good, in my personal opinion, right? So to answer your question, what we do instead is we have clients that target multiple markets, but the hot counties and cities in those markets. For example, I started my ads up like 7 days ago, right? We're targeting Texas, Georgia, Florida. Yeah, just these three states. But we're targeting the top performing counties in those states. That way I know that when I get a deal under contract, I can actually sell it. I love this.
So you
Geofencing? Yes. So geofencing is basically, if you guys don't know, you could put a pin and target around it. For us, what I've noticed works a lot better than geofencing is just targeting counties. Targeting counties and excluding counties or zip codes you don't want. Because on Google, at least, you can target cities, counties, and zip codes. I don't like zip codes. It hasn't performed from my experience. Cities, it works to some extent, depending on the city. But for me, what I noticed works best is if you combine cities and counties together and exclude everything else that you don't want.
Yeah, I have a question. So whenever you're doing Google PPC or Google Ads, I know it shows up as sponsored, right, at the top. Does that also, although it's sponsored, does it also give you organic, what's it called, flow into your site because you're also sponsoring it at the same time? Or?
Yes, absolutely. So whenever you run Google PPC, it absolutely boosts your organic presence, not by much as you want it to, but it does give it a little bit of a boost, right? So when it comes to what you're talking about, you search it up. I call it the pocket. And if you guys, it's a fancy word for the top 3 ads, sponsored ads that you see. We want to be in that pocket, right? It doesn't matter if you're the first or the third. I just want to be there because, and I'll tell you why. Everybody says, I want to be first. Transparency is just for their ego. It feels good. I'm not going to lie, right? I love being first, right? But for me, what I've noticed is that you can spend double or maybe 50% more to be the first one when you can just stay second and third. Most people don't even click the first ad anyways. So I value just being in that pocket, and which is why I was talking earlier about SEO. Because if you combine PPC and SEO, Google's going to look at you like, okay, he's putting in effort. He's rewarding the traffic that we're sending him. So in other words, the people that are clicking on your website are actually converting to a lead. And then obviously Google knows that. And on top, you're paying them. It's like they want you to win. They're going to push you up over and over again. Does that make sense?
Can I ask one more follow-up? Because I know on the slide before you mentioned how you target specific, like if it's foreclosure, if they're Googling that, yeah. Do you have a website that's talks about foreclosure. Is it different ones that then you're pushing out depending on the pain point?
Great question. I'll dive into that right now. Do you guys see behind on payments and facing foreclosure? So I want you guys to focus on three things: behind on payments, facing foreclosure, and then Austin, Texas. Those three lines are what we call dynamic custom values, right? So based on where you are, for example, the city, it changes. Like if you go in your VPN and you set yourself to Los Angeles, it's going to say Los Angeles, I was about to say Los Angeles, Texas, Los Angeles, California, right? And then up here right now, so just to get real nerdy with you guys, with landing page software, you can test and split test different landing pages, send traffic to which one. So we're testing this, and the other one that you don't see is that right here is a custom field, and then you can send. So let's say somebody clicks on an ad that says stop foreclosure now. They click on that, it's gonna pop up stop foreclosure now in #1 trusted home buyers in Austin, Texas. Does that make sense? So we wanna, like I said, carry the messaging over. That way the seller knows exactly why they're there and why they should opt into their ad. Because my personal opinion is that with ads, the entire goal is to sell the click. You're not trying to buy their house on the ad. Like, don't put the offer price in the ad, right? The goal of the ad is to just sell the click. The job of the landing page is to turn that click into a lead. You're selling them on giving you their information. And then once you have their information, they're in your sales ecosystem is what I call it. It's the acquisition manager's job to take that contact info and turn it into a contract. And then dispo, like an awesome person like Chris, make sure that that contract actually makes money, right? Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Awesome. So like I said, the landing page, the entire goal is to use this as a lead capture a tool where somebody clicks on the ad, the entire goal is to convert it into a lead capture tool. And another thing I want to point out about the landing page on top of the three main things that I already broke down with you guys is why I sent you guys as mobile is because as you can see here, this is from one of our client campaigns. We see that the conversion rate, so these are conversion rates. We have a 22% conversion rate from mobile phones on this campaign. And on our second campaign, our scaling campaign, we have a 13% conversion rate on this one. So, which is why I want to emphasize the mobile. Another big mistake that I see people make when it comes to building their landing pages is understanding above the fold. And if you guys don't know what that means, basically, whenever you land on a website or a landing page, what you see before you scroll is considered above the fold, right? So for me, the goal is to squeeze as much value, take advantage of this real estate as much as possible, because the second they have to scroll to find your form, that will destroy the conversion rate of your landing page, right? So as you can see here, they could see the property address right there. So they know to click. There's an arrow that tells them to click, and then the information is up front. There's a call to action for sellers to actually call as well. Quick nugget for you guys. If you guys are running a landing page, let them call you, don't text. Text does not perform as well. They'll text you and then they'll forget about you. So always call is my personal recommendation. You guys do whatever you guys feel. Say it one more time.
How many of your clients use the Carrot platform?
Great question. None. And I'll tell you why. Every single client that I've worked with over the last 5 years wants us to run their Carrot website. And from my personal experience, based off of the ads that we've ran, we give clients the opportunity to test my landing page versus theirs. And if their Carrot website performs better than mine, I give them an entire month off. I have not lost yet. So I will tell clients or suggest clients to just stick with my landing page.
What's the reason behind that?
Why
Why you would encourage them not to use the Carrot platform?
Because mine converts higher. And the reason why I believe it converts higher is because of what is on the page. The entire objective of this landing page is to just get their information. That is it. I'm not trying to educate them as much. I want them to see my ad, click on it, see why they're here, and then give me their information, right? I don't need them to see a video or anything like that. My goal is to just bring them into my sales ecosystem. Does that make sense? Awesome. So your question was, is it better to call or text?
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm going to talk about on the next one. But to answer your question right now, your question was, is it better to text instead of call? For me, on the landing page, if I had to choose a call to action, I let them call me directly because as soon as they call, and most of the time, you don't know the number that's coming from. So you ask, hey, who's this, right? And they will tell you, they're almost like selling themselves to you as to why they should continue the conversation. And as a result, it's a higher intent lead, and your opportunity and chance to close that lead is a lot higher. Initial contact process. So to answer your question straight away, as soon as the lead comes in, there's three main things that I care about. The ICP, initial contact procedure, I just called it that because it sounds cool, to be honest with you guys. First thing is speed to lead. I care about speed to lead, getting in contact on the phone with the lead in less than 5 minutes, right? Because I want to maximize contact rates. So there was if you guys really want to get nerdy with it, Harvard Business Review had a study where if you call a lead after the 5 minutes, the conversion rate drops by like 50%, right? So, 70%. So it's even worse. My bad. So whenever I call, most of the time I have this process, it becomes muscle memory. It's a triple dial. If they don't answer after triple dial, it's a voicemail and an SMS, so a text message. And then from there, I wait for 5 minutes. I call it a pause 5. And then I call them again on mobile. So I'll hit them twice. So I take it through the ringer a little bit, right? And then the reason why I triple dial them is to overcome the voice screener because, most people have don't disturb nowadays. There's caller ID block and all this stuff. So I triple dial just to make sure I leave a voicemail. That way they know who I am and they can hear my voice to build trust. Pause 5 minutes. Maybe they're doing something. And then I'll call them again. And 98% of the time, this works. For me, at least, right? Another thing you can add if you guys, have a little bit of budget and you guys can invest in a dialer is something called local presence styling, right? So if you're a virtual wholesaler, let's say you're in Texas, area code in Houston is 346, right? And you are calling a lead in North Carolina, right? The area code's 919. Someone in North Carolina that sees an 832 or 713 area code is gonna be like, who is this? I don't want to answer. The beautiful thing about local presence dialers is that I don't know how it works, but it basically just gives you a phone number in that area code. That way, it will increase your contact rate. So that's something you guys can do as well. And then somehow, after all that, if they still don't answer, I put them through what I call the 10 days of hell, and many people call it the same thing. It's 10 to 15 touch points daily. So I typically do morning, afternoon, evening, email, and SMS. For this one, we have nurture sequences in place, so these are automated. I'm not manually sending one myself. And then the objective here is to just simply get in contact with them and a quality conversation. I know some other people will skip trace them and then call them after, but this is what works for me. My contact rate is very high, and feel free to use it. Ma'am?
So you say local presence dialers, do I do that like an app or like
It's a software. It's like a CRM. There's a bunch of CRMs. You can use Alware, which is I think is one of the common ones. There's Kixi. They're just dialers. They're just phone call softwares.
I've had that issue too because I'm from South Carolina and so I have an 803 number. Mm-hmm. So like.
Do you call from a computer or from your phone?
Oh, my phone.
Oh, your phone. Okay. Do you triple dial?
No.
I would try that.
Is triple dial literally just calling 3 times in a row?
Yeah, you call them, push a voicemail, hang up, call them again, wait, call them again. And after, typically most of the time, the second time they will answer. Like if you guys get one thing, just try that. Because if you guys want to get real granular, if you put all the data on a graph, contact rates, and then lead to offer, and then offer to close, one sec. You can notice that if you double your contact rates and invest an extra $100 a month in your dialer, you could like double the production based off of the leads you have. Like if you look at its theory of constraints, but yeah. Yes, sir?
So would the lead not be irritated after triple dial out?
Well, they opted into my system. They literally check a box saying I consent to being contacted. So I'm doing them, the way I look at it is I'm doing them a disservice by not getting in contact with them. Now, exciting part. How do we convert these leads into contracts, right? I want to introduce a special guest with me. He is also one of my clients who I care a lot about. We had him on the podcast a few weeks ago. He got a lot of traction, and I wanted to sit and share about the sales process, but I figured it'd be better for someone who's actually my client to share what he's doing because I feel like that would be a lot pretty valuable for you guys. So can we get a massive round of applause for Mr. Brent Erickson? Thank you, here. Close then. There we go. Let's do it. Great. So Brent, you've been a client for a while now, right?
Yeah, it's kind of going by fast. I feel like four months already, or
Awesome.
5 months. So, yeah.
So the biggest thing that I think would be most valuable to share with everybody is just having a few conversations with people around is sales process, right? Your sales process is extremely unique. I do the marketing. I think that's what I'm pretty good at. But when it comes to sales, I think I got to give that crown to you. Yep. So if you could just share with us, we send a lead over to you. It goes to your CRM. walk us through the initial contact phase process. Me and you.
Yeah, so I would say it's very similar to Ben's in the sense that like you definitely got to get to it in that first 5 minutes. Is anybody here full-time wholesaling or everybody like part-time or? Okay.
As most good amount of people are.
All right, just because like if you are part-time and you are paying for leads, like those things are your babies. Like you need to get to those things. And so if you're driving in the car, at the very least send them a text or anything you can do to just get a hold of them. One thing that I did, since I am the only acquisitions guy, is not only does Ben have like a lead manager with his through his agency that he provides for you, but I set up some AI bots too. So like if I'm driving or whatever, like they're set on a 3-day blow up. So like lead comes in, I can't get a hold of them. They go into a 3-day blow up, which Jesus, they actually structured that when I worked acquisitions. But they basically, I can't get a hold, put them in there. AI bots are calling them and double dialing them, texting them, at least 4 to 5 times, throughout the day. We did 1 hour blow ups, but I did it every 2 hours. So I just switched that.
Are these and you said these are automated, right?
Yep. Automated. They do different texting. They do different, there's different voices I can use for them too and stuff. But
is it text, email as well? Or is it
text and email. Yep. So similar to yours, like 18 touches throughout the day till somebody answers.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you put them through your blow up phase, your 10 days of hell, whatever the case is. And then you get on the phone with the seller. Walk us through what that initial process looks like, why your tone's a certain way. Do you try to mirror the prospect? What does that look like?
Yeah, so as soon as somebody answers, I feel like I do a great job of like a customer service. Like they don't even think they're talking to a salesperson. I'm answering the call and like, hey, the first part of this call is really just to figure out what you've done in the past to sell a home. Maybe what attracted you to our ad. Just to figure out what they're looking for, right? You want to figure out why did they fill out the form? Why are they not going with the realtor? Why, what you're trying to unpack so much at the beginning of the call to kind of figure out what kind of exit strategy you're going to use at the end. And so if they're like, oh, well, I really liked that, your ad said I don't have to make any repairs to the property. Okay, how do you think that might benefit you? Oh, well, my house is falling apart. And so I haven't even really said like, hey, I'm going to deduct you from your offer because your house is falling apart. They're just telling themselves, oh crap, my house is falling apart. You know what I mean? And so we're taking them through that, get them talking. One comparison I guess you can make it is the more you can get them to talk is the better you can start to uncover their motivation without them like having any friction. And so you compare it to like if you walked into the elevator when you're leaving right here to somebody you haven't talked to this whole time, you're like, hey, how's your mom doing? You know what I mean? You can't just jump right into that. You're like, what the heck are you talking about, right? And so the more you can get somebody talking, then you can just be like, so how long you been thinking about selling? And they're going to say, oh, I've been thinking about selling for like 6 months now. Okay, well, what had you filling out the form right now? And now there's like, oh, well, now I can't afford to make the repairs and I need to move because of this, that, the other thing. But the real most important thing is just to get them talking without them really thinking it's a sales call. You're there to help, right? And I think that's what's the most important at the end of the day is to make them feel that it's not a sales call, it's a customer service, and you're there to help them.
Okay, so you go through your discovery process, you go through your tone, which I'm sure is great because it's working, right?
Yeah.
You're making money from it. How do you transition to actually making the offer? Do you put them on hold? Do you hang up and then call them back later? Why do you do that a certain way? How do you present the offer? How do you overcome the I want more? And then eventually like, okay, maybe wholesale not work. How do you maybe pivot them to do innovation or other exit strategies that you use?
Yeah. Is anybody doing innovations right now? Sweet. Okay. Who's just doing cash deals? You guys run into the ones where they're just like, that's way too dirt low and they're hanging up on you and things like that? You run into that? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so those leads, when you're running into that, or I guess I could start back from the beginning. I am going to put them on a hold, right? So the reason I'm putting these customers on a hold is we're on a team. So Ed, if I'm working with you, I want to get the most amount of money. And I'll even say something like, hey, at the end of the day, this ain't even my company. Like if I can give you all the money, I will. And I want to make sure that me and you are on a team And it feels like that I'm doing everything I can to get you the most amount of money. And then I'm going to put them on a hold. Hey, this is going to take 5 minutes, build some suspense. And I'm going to come back with one of two things when I come off this hold. One, an approval with an offer, or two, a disapproval with the reason why we might not want to buy your property. Because we want them to feel like, oh, like I thought this was guaranteed. Like, you know, why would my property approve or qualify for an offer, right? And so it makes them really feel like, oh crap, I might not even sell my property today. Like you want them to go on the roller coaster and feel it. And then I'm coming off the offer. I don't know how many people here, if you're using the whole technique or if you're giving the offer, but most people, what they're doing is they are underwriting the deal, and then they're just going to say, hey Ed, I got you approved for $1, because that's basically what it feels like most of the time when you're giving the offer, right? Is $1, and then you don't say anything, right? Well, you just opened the floor for negotiation, right? They're just like, well, I can't take $1, you asshole. Like they're like, screw you, I don't want to talk to you no more. Well, the way that I present it is, you just want to role play real quick? Cool. All right, so I'm gonna come off hold right now. Hey Ed, you still with me? I'm gonna stand up to this because I always stand up to I at least stand up to make sure the energy feels better, right? They can feel that over the phone. Hey Ed, you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hey, perfect. So Ed, good news. I actually got you approved for that cash offer you're looking for. Before we get into that, do you care if I go over what the next steps are gonna look like?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Perfect. Okay. So once we get an agreement signed today, Ed, what we're going to do is we're going to get that over to the title company. They're going to check for any tax, liens, judgments, basically anything that might stop the sale or prevent the sale from happening. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, cool. And then we also got you approved for that 21-day close you were looking for. I know that was really important for you. Okay. So 21 days from now, you're going to have an important decision to make when you sign your paperwork so we can get you paid. You can either come into our title company in Dallas. We work out of one in Westlake. It's called the Title Source. Or we can send you a mobile notary. Which one would work better for you, Ed? Do you want to use that mobile notary, or do you want to come into the office?
I'll go in.
Perfect. Everybody loves coming into the office. I'll have some coffee ready for you, Ed. It's going to be exciting. Can't wait to get you paid. Now, what we got you approved for today, but like I said, we got you approved for that cash offer. We got you approved for $1. And my underwriter, Aaliyah, she also wanted me to ask you, did you want that in a check, or did you want that in a wire to a specific account at close? Which one works better for you? Did you want that in a wire or a check?
I'm sorry, you said $1?
Yeah, $1. And I couldn't not believe we could get that approved for you, Ed. But yeah, no fees. You don't got to put a penny into the house, and we get you paid up at close.
Okay, I was not expecting $1. Definitely not gonna work.
Right. No, I completely understand. And I figured you probably knew at the beginning of the call, Ed, that the offer was going to come in a little bit lower than you expected. You also told me at the beginning that you didn't have any money to repair the house. Would you be able to make any repairs for us to come up on our price?
No, I don't. I don't have the money for it.
Okay. Well, what were you hoping our offer to come in at?
Much higher than $1, that's for sure.
Okay, when you say higher, what do you mean?
I don't know. I bought it for $20 back in 1960. So.
yeah. And man, a lot of memories in that house, right, Ed? Hey, and I don't blame you, especially in a house you've lived for that long. But you did fill out the form today because you did need to sell. So what can you wiggle for me at all? I know you're expecting it to come in at 20.
Yeah, I guess I can do 15.
15? Okay. Ed, if I could do $15 for you today, would that be something we could go ahead and move forward with?
I think so, yeah. I'd be ready to go.
Okay, and outside of that, everything else is good? It was just the $15 that you need?
I don't need to move anything, right?
No, you go ahead and leave everything in there. I'll take care of that for you.
Okay, cool. You guys will take care of it, John.
Absolutely. I just met a guy today that can handle it for me. He's sitting right here. But Ed, I'm gonna go ahead and put you on another quick hold. But if I can get that $15 approval, you're definitely ready to go today, right?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. So then now I'm gonna put him on a hold. We're gonna come back, offer the $15 and lock him down. But, but that's how that's gonna work. Right.
That's awesome. Appreciate that, dude. Appreciate that.
But yeah, that's just gonna be a different way of presenting the offer instead of just, hey, approved for $1, and now we're just sitting there, right? We're gonna get some commitment out of them. We're gonna start talking that we're working at the title company, like make it feel like we're already working together instead of just offering them the $1 and like, oh shit, I hope he takes it, right? We're building that confidence all the way through, like a little 2-minute close through the whole thing. Yes, sir.
So when you come back and you tell, say, any team, go on with the lead and they'll counter this time.
Yeah, we might counter again, and you got to remember, like that $1 that I offered him, like we probably could have been at $7, right? But you can't have your MAO be that first offer, or you have no room to negotiate. So I might come back off fold again and just like ask something else or whatever it might be. And then let's say he comes back down to 12. Well, maybe Novation works at $10, and now I can, hey, if you're open to us marketing the property and you're willing to wait 45 days, we can go ahead and get you that $10, and now we can get it on the MLS, open up to more buyers, things like that. But it's really important to anchor, just like I did there, and then let the conversation go from there, I guess. When I'm like trying to figure out what I'm going to list it at or my MAO is, I'll do 90% of whatever's selling 60 days or less, because that's what I'm preaching to my homeowners, that I can sell it in 60 days or less most of the time. And then 90% of that, and minus my fee, which I typically try to make like 30 grand on it. So that's what I use for a calculation anyways. Yeah, sure.
Any other questions? Nope. Great. So you answered 2, one answer already. So the next thing I want to talk about, Brett, is the podcast. This is something that I want to share. One thing that I'll speak with Brett on this. One thing that I've seen and I'm going to be doing for my wholesaling business that I think it's going to actually help us scale and not only dominate a market is definitely build our brands, right? And the way I would break down building a brand is really just documenting not only the good and the bad of scaling the wholesaling business. That way I can connect with more people. That way you guys can see what's working for me and what's not. And from there, people will naturally submit their deals to me as they have for Brett, which you could probably speak on. And from there, what that does is now you have JV deals, like a solid flow of JV deals. And that you can use, assuming you're doing like a 50-50 or even a 60-40 split, could add anywhere from $20,000, $30,000 per month. So Brett, you want to speak on that on the JV side with the content and Jaden?
So even like for Novation or anybody that's running into those cash deals that's not doing Novations, if you're not really sure how to have that conversation, or just don't even know any idea what it's like, but they're like, dang, these guys need to sell and we're $20,000 off, you can send that lead to me and I'll partner with you on the deal. We'll handle everything. Give it to Crump to do the dispo, so you'll be in good hands there. But yeah, we can definitely partner there. And then also through Ben and him doing the podcast, that's opened up doors for me where people are sending me leads, and then also where even other dispo people are like, hey, if you need to open up in Georgia, which I needed to do because I was really up in my ad spend and I needed more inflow. So Ben would just like coach me on a plan of attack on, we need to do more, you need to do another state, you need to do more counties, you need to do something. And so it's been awesome working with him, because if you guys haven't listened to my podcast, I am very much so still a power line sales guy at heart, and I have no idea how to run a business. And so, hey.
If I want to JV with y'all, what markets are y'all in? You got buyers in specific markets, or Texas, or all over the nation?
So Crump is all over Texas. The people that Ben just introduced me to, they're in Georgia.
Yeah.
And so I can for sure do both of those. But if we're doing Novations, I'd probably take a look at it just about anywhere, because at that point, we're going to throw it on the MLS. And so we're not necessarily looking, like, we don't need to necessarily have the buyers there because MLS is going to bring them to us. So absolutely.
To answer your question on that, I obviously have a good amount of clients all over the country. So most states I can dispo, or my clients can dispo. I can connect with my clients. You can even learn from them. My clients are great. I vet my clients very well. Obviously, as you can see, Brett's amazing. So like California, Washington, Nebraska, just not to offend anybody here, but not the weird states like Idaho or like Iowa. I mean, there's money in Iowa, but like the top corner, so Northeast, like Maine, like what is there in Maine, right? But for the other states, like, just connect me or reach out to me, and I will connect you with somebody for sure. Yep. Brett, you want to share any mistakes you made for some people?
Man, I don't want to sit here like I didn't make any, but I had Jesus, a great mentor in Jesus and Naaman, where like maybe if I made any mistake, I paid for some mentorship at the very beginning where I had no idea who the guy was, and I gave him like 20 grand, and we did like an 8-week course, and then I never heard from him basically after the last day. So maybe vet people that you want to pay for. And then another thing that I did, because I was like a walking hot lead. Like I was handing out all the money I had to just try and figure this shit out. Like I was just like, you get money, you know. Everybody got money from me. And so anytime I learned any type of information, I just freaking went for it. And before I even knew how to make a phone call, I spent like 10 grand on some PPL leads, and I didn't even know how to talk to him yet. And so I closed 0, and I was like, man, that lead source sucked. Like none of those guys were motivated, and I had no idea how to talk to him yet. And so that was definitely a mistake, was just like, one, I didn't vet them. I didn't know anybody really that was using and having too much success. And I didn't have a sales process down yet. So, you know, make sure you know what you're getting yourself into, but you can definitely pay people to fast track for sure. Yep.
Do you record your calls with people that you talk to, like so you can essentially train like an AI to mimic and create like a clone of yourself?
I mean, I don't know how to do that. I don't know. I know how to record my calls, I guess, just because the system does it for me, but I don't even know how I would do that, but I guess I could. You probably know how to do that.
Yeah, so the calls are auto-recorded on most CRMs. To answer your question about that, if Brett came to me and was like, hey, I want to use an AI software to take my calls, the first thing I would do is panic for me, because, and I'll tell you why. From what I've seen working with Brett, his skill set is being on the phones and closing deals. Like, that's what I see as Brett's skill set, and his, what we call zone of genius. And for me, my question would be, if you're making all your money doing this, why do you want to stop doing what you're making money to try and get more time? Like, what do you plan on doing with your time that would make you more money than this? So to answer your question, what I would do is, if I was in your position, I'd see what is something that I can leverage, and with that time back, I can make more money with it. So it's out there. I know there are people that are releasing one, but me personally, I don't think it's the best thing yet, and I'll tell you why. On top of that, sales has been, to me personally, one of the most life-changing skill sets. It's helped me communicate with people better. It's helped me network with people better. The game of real estate and business in general, life, is communicating and socializing with other people. And I don't want to, and by being on the phones, talking to sellers, talking to people in general, is my way of practicing. And I would not want to delegate that to a bot to have more time to build a CRM. I don't. Does that make sense? Christina?
I was just going to ask, what questions are you asking now that you've learned when you're going to invest in the next, like, mentor or course?
Great question. That's a great question.
What kind of questions I ask them? I would ask them, so I might be the wrong person to ask that, because I'll just see somebody and I'll be like, I'll just go pay them. But I'll maybe ask them how many deals they're doing. Make sure it's somewhere where you want to go, right? Like if you're looking, I don't know what you're looking to do, but like if you're looking to flip houses, or if you're looking to wholesale, if you're looking to do sales, then go find the guy that's doing what you want to do, and then just vet them a little bit. You know, ask them how many deals they're doing. You know, maybe ask them to role play with you, or you know, just get it.
So like the guy that he could like 10,000 towards, like those questions I could ask him, he would answer back, like it would seem fine, but you know, so like what?
I can share an opinion on this, and I said this on a I said this on a podcast, and it got a little, some people got mad, but anyways, I don't really care. So I have a quote where it's, coaches want you to do good, never better than them. Mentors do. You find coaches to help you solve a specific problem. Same thing with the consultant. For my personal experience, you don't pay a mentor, you find them, right? Like, you're not, most of the time your dad or your mom is you're not, I haven't paid my parents to be a mentor to me. I don't know if anyone else has, but so for me, what I look for in a mentor is, number one, somebody who's been there, done that, and at least 10 times further than I am. If I'm making $1 million a year, I can't pay somebody that's worth $1 billion. Like, what is he going to tell me, right? So if I'm at $1 million max, somebody that's 10 times, so it would be 10 million a year, right? That's the first thing. The second thing would be ideally somebody that does not sell coaching. And I'll tell you why. In my personal opinion, and you guys will see why people push back on this, I believe that people that are doing it don't need to sell coaching. That's my opinion, okay? So I find people that don't sell coaching, and I ask them, hey man, what do you want for an hour of your time? I've gone and paid 3 people $5,000, $3,000, $5,000 for just 1 hour. And what I've learned is that you just need one nugget, and it might not even be the thing you need help with, that it's going to change the entire thing. So find people that don't really sell coaching, that are private, that are actually do the business and are okay sharing their numbers. Like if you ask what their P&L is, or their profit or their revenue is, they'll $10 million a year at 30% margin, right? And you ask them like really deep tactical questions. For example, like what I do, I'm just saying what I do. I ask them like, okay, what does your personal life look like that reflects into your business? And they'll be like, I run my family well, this and that, yada, yada, yada. And that tells me what I need to know of how he is as a leader within his company. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, Chris, we're out of time, guys. I hope you guys found a bit of value in it and take something, but I appreciate you guys' attention. Thanks, Dan. Dude, your audience is amazing. I love your audience. All right, guys, so that's it. That's our exact sales and marketing masterclass with my client, Brent Erickson, who's absolutely crushing it. And to show you that he's actually crushing it, I got a text from him this morning right here asking him, hey, how many deals do you have on track to close? He has $123,000 that is scheduled to close, $20,000 interested with buyers found, $63,000 that he's currently marketing, so currently under contracts looking for buyers, and then a $20,000 deal that closed earlier this week, obviously, as you can see, which was a JV deal that he got from the podcast that you saw from him earlier. So needless to say, he's doing really well. But one big thing I want to mention is that in real estate, we both know that there are things that happen, right? Bad things that happen. So in order to factor in for that, let's just say this added up to about $220,000, $230,000. But let's just say hypothetically, only 80% of those deals went through. So 80% of that would be around $180,000 to $185,000 in revenue just for Brett and his company. So needless to say, I do that just as a precaution and to prove to you guys that our clients are actually getting results, unlike other agencies that pull number out of their hats, if you know what I mean. So if you are a real estate investor and you're struggling with generating consistent flow of high quality leads and you want to get into a position like Brett, where you're closing deals consistently, high profit, high margin, and build your brand like Brett is with us, there's a link on the top line of the description that you can click to schedule a call with me and my team where we can walk you through exactly from A to Z what the process is going to look like if we're going to work together. Now, I do want to mention that we have a client exclusivity policy where we only allow 3 clients per market. So click on it, schedule a call, and get in before your competitor takes that market, which obviously you wouldn't want. So like I said, my name is Benjamin, CEO and founder here at Bolt Deals. I hope you enjoyed this masterclass and actually got value out of it. And if you did, please don't forget to like, comment, as well as subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.